At the start of the process, I created a blog on WordPress. I was able to write about the steps I was taking and evaluate them throughout. Because of this, I was able to keep track of my progress, making sure I completed all the necessary posts. I embedded videos, images, and documents to demonstrate what I was saying and provide as evidence for my responses. I could categorize them for navigation around my posts. Throughout this process, I have also uploaded my own videos onto YouTube, as it is extremely easy to link it onto my blog. I am able to embed the URL link of other videos which I've needed to back up my research, such as examples of scores that have inspired me when it came to creating my own music, or the short film on the textual analyses. This enhanced the posts as it gave the viewer an easier understanding of what I was saying. I conducted my initial research by analysing independent short films to gain inspiration. YouTube was useful in this process when it came to analysing a variety of styles and abilities prior to making my own. I also used Virgin Media Shorts, which is a website that was useful when looking for short film style models to analyse technically and creatively, as they are all created professionally and have a range of high quality short films. These websites are easily accessible and have a wide range of short films for me to view. This was vital for research to gain as much knowledge about what short films look like and what to include. I found these were particularly helpful when deciding on the genres I was going to use, as a wide range of them made it clear which worked best and why. When planning for the production of my short film, I used Celtx, a script writing app. I used it to create the script for my actors to read. It included the correct font and had set up the layout that would be seen on a high-budget feature film. This included where the speech should be and how it should look and how the stage direction should be in order to make it as easy and prevent confusing the actors, as this would take up more time. This meant it was easy for me to create a professional-looking script that would be easy for both myself and the actors to follow. When it came to producing questionnaires, scripts, shot lists, production schedules and risk assessments that needed to be embedded onto my blog, I started by writing them mostly on Microsoft Word and then used a website called Scribd to link it onto the blog. I was able to upload the document quickly and with little hassle. It kept the presentation of the document I created and therefore was very useful to keeping my blog looking presentable. These were all essential for creating a successful media product and needed to be understood and seen by several people. Also in the planning stage, I used iMovie. This was for making my animatic and evaluations. It is a lot simpler than Final Cut Pro and therefore was very easy to use. This is an advantage as it sped up the process, however it did mean that I wouldn't have as many features to use, although for these particular purposes I didn't see that as too much of a problem. Being able to create an animatic quickly and simply made planning a lot easier. I could see where my shots worked and where they didn't and what I needed to change. Although, due to the drawings, it isn't completely accurate, it was enough for me to get the rough idea of what it will look like. I was able to change the duration and put some camera movements in. For my animatic, I needed to include music. I used GarageBand to record this. It gave me a platform ready to record sounds directly from a piano without making it overcomplicated. I was able to simply turn it into an MP3 and then was easy to transfer over to Final Cut or iMovie, where it could also be cut depending on the length of the product. When it came to actually filming my short film, I used a Panasonic Lumix camera. It had a zoom of a 2.8 lens, which I made use of, specifically when filming the wishes in the notebook, so that the audience had a clear view of what they said. It had an inbuilt microphone which most of the time efficiently picked out the speech or diegetic sound that helped to create the atmosphere in the scene. However, I don't feel that I got the best out of it and all its features. I realised that some of the shots I was filming were blurrier than others, although this could have been to do with the lighting, as the location was an old building which was old-fashioned with low-key lighting. For example, in the bedroom, the natural light wasn't really enough to brighten up the shot, even though we filmed at the brightest time of the day. With the camera, I used a SanDisk Ultra SD card, which was 16GB, which I used solely for this project. It had a large storage, which was more than I needed, but was useful in case I underestimated and filmed more. I also used the Manfrotto Compact Action Tripod. I borrowed this from the school, which meant I had limited access to it. However, when I did have it, it was portable and allowed me to have a steady hold at a range of heights. This meant my shots were steady and I could take it to all my locations. During my audience research and feedback stages, I conducted focus groups which I filmed using an iPhone 6s with a storage of 64GB. It had a good enough camera quality for what I was doing, and as I filmed at school, it meant I didn't have to carry any larger camera around. This also meant that I could put it straight onto my laptop with an Apple lead that synced the two, and it would be later easily uploaded to YouTube after being edited on iMovie. I was also able to share it onto my blog. In the post-production stage, I used Final Cut Pro to edit my short film. I had previously used this in both AS and GCSE, so I was aware of the various transitions and editing techniques that worked well on it, such as altering the colour palette when the lighting had noticeably changed due to filming on different days to make it look continuous. I managed to do this by using the Colour Match tool, which altered one shot's colours to look much like another, or cutting the duration to edit out parts that were unnecessary. I had also experimented with the transitions and knew that fade to black and cross dissolve worked extremely well when changing scene or portraying time passing. However, as it is a software that has a lot of features, it meant that there was still more that I could explore that I haven't previously used. Like for the ending when I created the effect that the protagonist was disappearing. This software allowed me to create a smooth running film from many perspectives, including continuity edits such as the eyeline match. Also in the post-production stage, I utilised the website DaFont, which is where I found all my fonts for not only my final short film, but also for both the ancillary tasks, the poster and the review. From here, I consulted my target audience with a choice of 3 possible fonts and downloaded the chosen one. This was for my final short film. It allowed me to be as creative as I wanted for my poster and film, but this also meant that for my review, I was able to almost duplicate the fonts from Empire magazine to make it look as realistic as possible. When it came to creating my film poster, the main software I used was Photoshop. It gave me multiple options as to what I could do with my poster. I was able to use the features that were available, such as the brightening tool, which I manipulated to look like I had used a brighter light when taking the shot. I could insert shapes and text on any part of the product and had no restrictions on where I could place things. Everything was layered separately, so it was easy to remove or alter single factors such as the star in as much precision as I needed to place it specifically. Photoshop gave me a lot of freedom to create the poster that I had envisioned. For my review, I worked on InDesign, which gave me the layout and setup of a professional review. It allowed me to keep it neat in columns and replicate the design of an Empire magazine, completely with a yellow border and category labels. I was able to add in my own fonts and write wherever I needed. I had never used InDesign before, and therefore this was completely new to me. It allowed me to develop my skills on different platforms and further my knowledge in a wider range of areas. Throughout all of these stages, I used an Apple MacBook Pro and an iMac. The laptop is what I use for all my research, iMovie and GarageBand. It was portable and that was very helpful for being able to record where I needed. The iMac had a larger storage and so I used it for editing as it was less likely to lag and already had the required software.